People keep asking if I'm back.
I'm back. Ooh.
Guess who's back?
We are back!
Get back! Get back! Devil without a cause, and I'm back!
I'm thinking I'm back.
What is going on, everybody? How you doing? It is Friday, July 25th, and point the microphone at me. That might help. It is technically day 2 of San Diego Comic-Con right now, but I am here with you, and we're talking about San Diego Comic-Con day 1 and the fun that was had. So join me for a little while we talk about this. Kind of going to go through the day and, just kind of outline what happened. There was some very interesting stuff in the world of horror, and we got to see some cool celebrities. So fun stuff. So join me as we talk about this, shall you? Also, we all heard a few days ago Ozzy Osbourne passed away. I want to mention that I've not been live since that news broke, and that's been it's very, to say devastating, I don't know is correct, but as far as my appreciation for music and being, the music lover I am, where I got a lot of introduced to a lot of music from my dad, who was a big Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath fan. To see Ozzy pass away was very sad. I think we're all very glad that he was able to do his final concert, and 9 or however long it was later, couple weeks later, he passes away. There's been some video surface of, I guess 2 mornings before he passed away, where he was sitting at the kitchen table on a tablet or something, where they were having breakfast or something like that. Seemed like he was doing okay, but just a couple days later he left us, and it's very sad. Been listening to a lot of Ozzy music, and of course, which includes his solo career and Black Sabbath, and it just, it brings up a lot of memories for me of childhood, and just Ozzy reminds me a lot of my dad, and so now they're both gone, and it's an emotional time. So I don't know that, devastating. And to me, I'm not in business, and there's a reason I didn't mention this on the thumbnail at all. It drives me nuts when I see anybody try to profit off of somebody passing away, and you see other YouTubers going like, oh, so-and-so passed away, I'm going to do a video about it, and talk about my experiences with them, or what I got, or this or that and everything. I'm not a fan of that stuff. I have friends that do it, more power to them. Personally, I'm not a fan of that stuff. To me, the sadness is for the family of the loved one that's passed away, in this case being Ozzy, and in our sadness as fans. And if somebody wants to go make money off of that, more power to them, but I'm it's not for me. But so anyways, Ozzy passing away, very sad. And Ozzy was very controversial in the 80s and 70s. They were calling him a satanic and devil worshiper and all this stuff. It was all a gimmick. It was all an act. But I think around the time that he passed away, most of us loved Ozzy, whether it was because of him popping up in little cameos in movies, his TV shows, several different TV shows he was involved with his family, or his family. Jack is great doing different TV shows and stuff. And Sharon, of course, being on The Talk or something like that a while back. And, Kelly popping in here and there, aside from, obviously, being, on the Osbournes TV show, which was a lot of fun. So definitely going to miss Ozzy, not, knowing that he's never going to pop into another TV show or something like that it's kind of sad. So Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. You know, we're all, I think most of us are a little sad for that news. And then also, yesterday morning, we're on the way to Comic-Con and we hear the news that Hulk Hogan passed away. And Hulk Hogan was controversial more recently because of video that surfaced where he used the N-word, and which is wrong. He made a mistake. Somebody got it, on recording or whatever, and decided to put it all out there, to screw him over. I guess it was their right to do it, whatever. But to me, people make mistakes. People deserve second chances. The hate that Hulk Hogan is getting right now from the left is disgusting. This is a guy who just passed away. He can't defend himself. His family is there mourning, and you want to shit on him now? Shame on you. Anybody who's shitting on somebody who just passed away, shame on you. It's a sad time for a lot of people. There were a lot of fans. One thing we know in society is that people deserve second chances. We have a lot of shitheads walking around this planet right now that have been given second chances. So there's no reason that Hulk Hogan did not deserve a second chance. And for many of us, he got that second chance. And aside from, one little incident, maybe some people don't view that as little. But you know what? I mean, behind closed doors, a lot of people say things that they would never say publicly. And it doesn't make them a bad person. It makes you don't know the full context, or whatever, but it doesn't mean because he used one word that he was a certain thing. So I don't want to sit here and get into all that and, and play defend him and everything. It's just sad that people would go shit on somebody who just passed away. I remember seeing with my dad again, and my brother or brothers at a wrestling event in San Diego back in the 80s, seeing Hulk Hogan wrestle down at the San Diego Sports Arena. And then, I grew out of wrestling, haven't been really a fan of wrestling in, 30 years, but I know there's a lot of fans out there. And so I'm sure a lot of people are pretty sad about that. But just because the guy went out and supported Donald Trump for president doesn't mean we need to go shit on him. So, and if you want to do that, go shit on him somewhere else. You can vote for whoever you want. You can support whoever you want. You can be vocal about your support for whoever you want. Doesn't mean we should shit on you unless you do something to deserve it. And he didn't. So anyways, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy Osbourne. Man, three legends. And there's I've heard that Phil Collins is in hospice now, so Phil Collins is going to be leaving us soon, apparently. And hopefully the news apparently coming out of England that there may be something going on, with the royal family or something. So hopefully, we don't get any more bad news. We've had enough bad news for 1 week. So with that being said, thank you for hearing me out on that stuff. Now let's talk San Diego Comic-Con. The reason I was at San Diego Comic-Con was because of one of these legends right here, specifically that guy to my right. As you're looking at the screen, he would have been on my right, your left. And that is that Phat Samurai guy, my brother from another mother who I love very much. He's a great, great dude. And because he is part of the 28th annual San Diego Comic-Con Superhero Kung Fu Extravaganza, he was able to get me, and he was able to get the Sexy Sumo, who you see to my left, and the Sexy Sumo's lovely daughter, Bella, who got to join us and hang out with us. And for a while, Sumo and Bella went and did their own thing, which was great. We all kind of got back together later on, but we had an absolute blast all day hanging out. And man, Comic-Con is always fun. It's very chaotic. And we all kind of like, well, Samurai and I both kind of started shooting videos, and it was like, man, this is too chaotic. There's too much going on here to be able to shoot a video and enjoy each other's company. If you go down there with the sole purpose of shooting a video and you're not trying to enjoy each other's company or whatever, maybe you could do it. But we had other things on our mind, like, enjoying, each other and talking about what we're seeing and experiencing and stuff. And so filming a video was kind of tough. I did take a lot of pictures though. And I do have some videos of some of the celebrities at some of the panels that we went to. So stick around. You'll get to see some of that stuff soon here. Fluffy says, yes, rest in peace, Chuck Mangione. So before we dive into the day, let me say hello to those of you in the chat right now. Antonis, what's going on, Antonis? How you doing? And the Fluffy Gamer is here. I heard there was a Five Nights at Freddy's panel. Yes, there was. We did not attend that panel. We were somewhere else at that time. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, true American. Yes, he was. Gail, how you doing tonight, Gail? Good to see you. And hopefully you got my message, Gail. I am still working. I've still got movies to put in order. When they're all in order, I will get all those pictures posted for you to see there. So, but I hope you're doing well, Gail. House of G fam, what up? How you doing? And Balzer, I miss Elvis, but got to experience Hogan and Hulkamania. Rest in peace, Terry Bollea. Yes, I'm with you. I was too young, Balzer. I mean, based on your Balzer 1977, I think, isn't 77 the year that Elvis passed away? So didn't he like passed away maybe the year you were born, possibly? But I was very young and would not remember anything from Elvis being alive when he passed away. But yeah, man, so many icons. And to me, losing somebody like Ozzy and maybe even Hulk Hogan, I remember vividly where I was on 9/11. I remember vividly where I was when I heard the news Michael Jackson passed away. Trying to think of other events in my life that I remember vividly where I was. Those are the two that stand out for me right now. Michael Jackson. I was on St. Rose Parkway, believe it or not, in Las Vegas. I was driving down St. Rose Parkway and heard on the radio that Michael Jackson had passed away. And 9/11, I woke up and was getting text messages from my ex at the time. I turned on the TV and saw what was going on in New York and just could not believe it, and sat there and just stared at the TV for a couple hours, trying to figure out if I should get up and go to work, or are we at war? Like, what is going on? But I will, always remember when Ozzy, finding out Ozzy passed away. And I will always, I'm sure I'll always remember getting the news. I had just pulled up in front of Phat Samurai Guy's house when I saw the text message that Hulk Hogan had passed away. And it's like, wow, just crazy. Anyways, let's get in to Comic-Con, like Gail says. And everybody, if you would, if you're watching, please hit that thumbs up button for me. If you're enjoying the video, if not, don't. It's okay. Let's see here. Okay, I want to. Gail saw Elvis's last concert in 1977. Wow, Jennifer, what's up, Jennifer? How you doing? Good to see you. You were 4 months old when Elvis passed. Wow, crazy. Yeah, that is. It was a long time ago. You're an old man, Balzer, just like me and Fluffy, and Gail. Oh. And you know what? And I need to say a huge thank you to Jeff K, because he sent, before live stream on Monday, he sent a $10 PayPal donation again. And so I did not notice that till afterward. So I do want to say huge thank you to Jeff for sending that donation to PayPal. You absolutely rock. Thank you so much. And I apologize for not seeing that until after the video was over. Jennifer, you weren't even alive when Elvis died. Well, that's good. That means you are younger and have many more years ahead of you than probably I do, being as old as I am. But yeah, Elvis, that was a long time ago. But Ozzy, That one's gonna sting for a while, losing Ozzy. So here we go. Let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con. So we got there, we went up and we got our badges. And unfortunately, we told the lady we don't need no stinking badges, but she's like, "Nah, you need badges." So we got our badges, and let me get over here. I have to boom, 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 boom. I have to move it over here. Boom, ba bum, bum, bum. Then we went onto the floor and we started walking around to see all the cool things they had, like this pumpkin head statue. Look at this thing. The big one there, they wanted $1,000 for that. The little one, I think was like $100 or so, somewhere in that range. I would love one of those, but I can't justify spending that much money on a statue. But look at those. How cool are those? And so walking around, then we came across the Shout Studios, like Shout Factory, Scream Factory. So the Shout Studios, Samurai bought a movie box set there, and I don't know if he wants me to spoil what he got or anything, so I'm not going to say. I'll let him talk about that on his video, because Samurai will be doing a recap video of sorts on his channel at some point. But Shout had some very cool stuff. They had a Mario Bava box set that I really wanted. Oh, I'm missing a picture here. Or maybe they're out of order or something, but I thought I was going to be able to show some of the Shout stuff there. I don't see it. But they had a Mario Bava box set that was $170. And again, I just can't justify spending that kind of money for, movies, even though it was like 10 movies or something, and Mario Bava's great. But I just can't justify spending that kind of money. But they had some fun stuff. They had some fun stuff there at Shout. And then right around the corner from Shout was Sam J. Jones, Mr. Flash Gordon himself. I know the Fluffy Animal is a fan of Flash Gordon, but there he is right there in the middle, getting signing an autograph for somebody there. But I just grabbed a quick little picture of him. Obviously Flash Gordon, legendary TV show and legendary franchise. But I collect horror stuff, and so Flash Gordon doesn't fit the criteria of things that I would want on the wall in here. But plus I have no space. But it was very cool to see Flash Gordon in person there. Did you meet up with Danny at all? House of G Fam, we actually saw Danny after the convention. We saw him just for a few minutes. We crossed paths and caught up for a little bit, and then went our own ways, as it was a very long day, and Samurai was going on very little sleep. So after the convention, we stopped to grab a bite to eat and then head home, because eating at Comic-Con is crazy, because look, I'm so big. Woo! Oh, I feel better like that. Eating at San Diego Comic-Con is nuts. I got a bottle of like Pepsi Zero, and I was like, oh, they had these cookies there. I thought I'd ask to see how much the cookies were. One little cookie, about that big, not a bag of cookies, one cookie, $5.39. I was like, nope, I am good. I do not need to spend almost $6 on one cookie. Are you kidding me? So we ate before, and then we had like a little snack during. I had like a nachos with just cheese and jalapenos on it. That was $9. And then so afterwards we were all starving, so we stopped at a Sonic, grabbed some burgers, and hit the road and headed home. So we didn't see Danny for that long while we were there. But the food, it's just like going to a sporting event where, at the, stadium or sports arena, whatever, the food is very expensive. And so that's the way it was at Comic-Con. So we ate and went home. And so we didn't see Danny for too long, but we did get to see him. So it was nice. So after Flash Gordon, then there was so many of these, places that sell little statues or figures, comics, all kinds of things. And so I just took a picture of a few of the things that I really liked, and being a big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, of course, I took a picture of these. They're pretty cool. So some of these things that you would see there, they would have for sale, and some were just from like years past or stuff they were sold out of. But I'm not really in the market to buy like little figures like this unless there's like two, Pumpkinhead, or maybe if they had like the Creeper, but I don't expect to see the Creeper anytime soon. But Pumpkinhead or the Punisher, if they were reasonably priced. But these were still very cool to look at. Gotta love Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack Skellington and company there. And then, of course, Oogie Boogie. This was really cool. This would be a great one to add to the wall or somewhere back here. But I didn't even inquire about prices or availability just because I wasn't in the market for them. But this Oogie Boogie was very, very cool looking. And then, this is so. Well, spoiler alert, I will tell you, I bought nothing. All I have to show from Comic-Con is a couple pins and a bag. I'll show you those in a moment. But since we're already looking at AMC, I will tell you, AMC was there, and they were selling all kinds of merch that you could buy at the AMC theaters, including popcorn buckets. Like at the top of the screen here, you see the trailer. That is the trailer from The Accountant 2, and the top opens up, and it's a popcorn bucket. It was $20 in the theater. In the theater, that would have been more like 30, 35 bucks. All of the popcorn buckets there were a lot cheaper. And you can see off to the far side there, kind of the teeth of the Jaws popcorn bucket being open. That was $30. And I was like, oh man, you know what? I was so tempted. But I'm like, where am I going to put it? Where am I going to put it? So I passed. I didn't buy any. They had, which I think the next slide here, they had the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible. It's like a briefcase that opens up at the top, and then you could put the popcorn in there. And then over on the side, that's like a cup, and the whole thing comes off, and you see the hole on it where you could put your straw in there. So they had the Mission Impossible popcorn bucket there, amongst several others, all kinds of cool popcorn buckets. And so I would have loved to have gotten a few of them, and they were so much cheaper than they would be at the theater. So it was very tempting, but I was able to exercise a little bit of self-control, and I had to, because I've spent so much money at Zia Records lately. I gotta just take it easy. So gotta take it easy. But it was tempting. It was tempting. Let's see here. I don't know why it keeps making me big when I go out of that. Balzer says, you won't spend $6 on a cookie, but you spend $14 on a cup of beer. You know damn right, Balzer. Yes, I will. You know what? A cookie, I can never justify spending $6 on a cookie. This is this big. It's not, it's like in like that thick. It's not a big cookie. $6, man. No. But a beer, yeah, I do like beer a lot more than I like cookies. Love nachos. Did you have nacho cheese or real cheese? So it was a nacho cheese. It's the only cheese they had available. You know, there wasn't a lot of options. So it was just chips, cheese, and jalapenos on there. So it was pretty tasty. Let's see. Fluffy, I thought it was your turtle saved us. What? I don't know what's going on there. Michael McNally, what's going on, Michael? How you doing? So let's bring this back up now, and we'll get through the floor here pretty quickly, and then we'll get into. I have some fun stories from some of the panels that we went to. So here were some cool like Chucky dolls. I know that's got a make Antonis happy seeing stuff like this. I know Antonis is a big Chucky fan, but then little Wednesday figures there. And then some cool Jaws stuff. Look at that. That Jaws is great. It's got the little, like oxygen tank in its mouth about to explode there. Well, it doesn't know, but it's about to explode. Some cool stuff there. Megan and Ghostface. And then I don't know what the guy's name in Thanksgiving is. But maybe we'll just call him McDreamy, right? Maybe we'll just call him McDreamy. Then they had these San Diego Comic-Con exclusive items, like Godzilla breathing. That doesn't look like fire. It looks like ice or whatever, but I don't know. But anyways, that was a Comic-Con exclusive that I thought was pretty cool looking. But again, I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan, so I'm not going to buy, you know, the statues or anything, but I just thought I would take a picture of it to share. And it was kind of cool. And then we came across the Robotech section here, which I'm wearing my Robotech shirt right now that I got at San Diego Comic-Con a couple years ago. But I do love Robotech. That was my favorite cartoon as a kid, and probably my favorite comic book as well. But had a bunch of cool things from Robotech there, and then of course this life-size Veritech fighter there in I forget whatever the different modes are called. It's been a long time, but standing up there, I actually took a picture of that, like standing next to it a year or either last year or 2 or 3 years ago or something. But love me some Robotech, so that was very cool. And then they had this big old Godzilla area with all kinds of different statues and stuff. So they were really heavy on Godzilla this year. And Tonis, what time does Comic-Con start each day? I think 10. I'm not 100% sure. We didn't get there till about noon. We were not in a big hurry, knowing we were going to be there all day, because the panel that Phat Samurai Guy's panel, the 28th annual San Diego Comic-Con Superhero and Kung Fu Extravaganza, didn't start till 8 p.m. and did not end till almost 11 o'clock at night. So we knew we were going to be there late, so we didn't bother getting there too early. But Godzilla had a very cool Godzilla area over there with this, and this was what was impressive. This statue here, which obviously wasn't real gold or anything, but and you can't see the price in this picture, I don't think, but this statue was like $200, and there was one next to it that was just a little bit smaller. There was like $150. So for as big as those were, and I mean that had to be like at least a foot tall. That thing was huge. For being that big and that detailed, $200 was a pretty reasonable price if you were in the market for like Godzilla or whatever, however you say, Yuji Saki, whatever that 3-headed monster that fought Godzilla was called. And then of course we had the good old Star Wars area. Now last year, along that back wall, they had a whole bunch of, like, I think screen used costumes, which was really cool. This year was more like smaller items and figures and stuff, but it was such a madhouse in the Star Wars area. We didn't actually walk in there. I just feel like we've seen all that stuff already. But then we moved on. This was very cool. Seeing, and is this Bilbo Baggins? I think it was Bilbo, right? From the original Hobbit cartoon from back in the 80s, which is where most of us old folks were introduced to the Hobbit, was from that cartoon in the 80s. And unless, I mean, there was, the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings books from J.R.R. Tolkien, right? But most of us were first introduced to the Hobbit through that cartoon movie, which to me, I still prefer over, the newer movies, the live actions. But that was pretty cool. I love this artwork and a different look at his whole, kind of Hobbit house there, whatever is going on there. But that was a pretty cool addition. I like that. And then, what's this? Anthony Mackie, what's going on there? Let's let me move out of this for a second and show you. So we start. That's all the pictures and stuff I took from the floor. And now we went up to see panels, and we spent the rest of the day at panels. We intentionally did not go back down to the floor, one, to not spend money, and two, so that we would be able to relax and not be wiped out by the time the panel started at 8 o'clock. And we were just able to enjoy some great panels that we saw up there. The first of which being the panel for Twisted Metal, the TV show, and which obviously stars Anthony Mackie there, and it also stars Anthony Kerrigan, who played NoHo Hank in Barry, Joe Sanoa, who plays I forget his name in Twisted Metal. It's something like Candy or Happy or whatever, something kind of funny name like that. But that's him popping out of the side of the ice cream truck right there. and then Stephanie Beatrice, who is in the picture here beside Anthony Mackie right there. But the Twisted Metal panel we went to, and obviously starring Anthony Mackie, you would figure the stars. This is an interesting note. You would figure the stars of the panels or the stars of the show would be there for the panel. Not necessarily the case for some of the panels later on. Haha, spoiler alert for something I'm going to talk about later in this video. But Anthony Mackie was there and was very chatty and funny and was great to see him. And I have a favor to ask. I need to know when I play this video if you all can hear it. So when I play this, let me know. And I cannot control the volume. Well, let me make sure the volume is all the way up here. Maybe, I don't know if that will distort or anything. We'll turn up to like 92. But let me know if you can hear the volume on this, and I will play some of the clips that I recorded from the panel. This is a 45-second clip. I don't know if this will get me in trouble playing these, but they told us we were not allowed to record video while they were playing clips from the show. So I did not do that. This is not clips from the show. This is just clips from the panel here. So here's a little bit from the panel at Comic-Con from whatever I said the show was called, Twisted Metal. Let's see. Hopefully you can hear it. Let me know if you can't. Audio's faint. Okay. Well, and I apologize about that. I apologize. Thank you for that. And so I don't know how to increase the volume on StreamYard for these videos. So I'll just tell you, Anthony Mackie was talking about a scene that they shot for the show where they're driving a car and the car has to jump and it like crashes through some stuff, and they were going to use like 3 gallons of gas for the explosion to make a big fireball. And Anthony Mackie he's the star of the show, but he's also one of the producers. So he was saying that he wanted a bigger explosion. So he told them, no, throw 5 gallons on there. And they were like, no, 3 gallons is a big explosion. And Anthony's like, no, I want a huge explosion. So he forced him to go with 5 gallons instead of instead of 3 gallons. And it made a huge, even bigger explosion. So if you watch the new season of Twisted Metal, we'll see it's a little white car and you see it jump. And when it crashes, you see a big explosion. Anthony Mackie pressured them into making that explosion bigger. And that's what he was talking about right there. So I'm sorry. I wish I had some way for StreamYard to turn up the volume on these. Unfortunately, I just don't know how to do that. But that's what he was talking about there. And so then I will skip playing the audio for this. But here, Anthony Kerrigan, who I know as NoHo Hank from Barry, was there. And you see right next to Anthony Kerrigan there is Stephanie Beatrice, who she's like the female lead of the show. And he was just talking about his experience being part of the show because he wasn't in first season. He's joining the cast for season 2. And he was hysterical. I wish the audio would play. I don't even know if I had this specific comment on this clip or not, but they put him in a wig. He is bald, doesn't have eyebrows, nothing. That's what he always looks like. They put him in a wig and it was like this straight black wig, and it's very funny. Look, if you see the show, if you watch it, you will see him in there. And oh, why am I drawing a blank on his name? But he was saying that he felt like he looked like what's the name? The guy that says, "Oh, hi, Mark." From The Room, the guy from The Room. Why I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. But he thought he looked like that guy, and it was hysterical. But anyways, it was a lot of fun listening to him talk about his experience on the show and how excited he was to be a part of it. So it's just too bad. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tommy Wiseau, right? Tommy Wiseau. Thank you, House of G fam. He was saying, he goes, yeah, I look like Tommy Wiseau, which is hilarious because Tommy Wiseau normally attends San Diego Comic-Con. So I was like, oh shit. Hopefully Tommy Wiseau didn't decide to jump into this panel and hear what was going on. But anyways, he was very funny. I really enjoyed listening to him talk about his experience on the show and stuff. And I was kind of hoping, I was like, well, maybe they'll, talk about some other experiences, whatever. But my guess is they said, the studio said, stick to this show. Don't talk about your other stuff, which with Anthony Mackie, there was a little nod to Captain America at one point in the conversation there. But so you could see all the way on this panel, all the way in the far left is Joe Sanoa, the big wrestler guy. I guess he was a professional wrestler. And now he plays that clown in like the ice cream car. And then next to him is Anthony Kerrigan. Then obviously Stephanie and Beatrice, then Anthony Mackie. And then beside them on the far right of the picture, there's a couple producers from the show that were there all talking about it. So it was a lot of fun. And then look at this. Does anybody know who Rennie Harlan is? You ever heard a little movie called Deep Blue Sea? Maybe another movie called Cliffhanger. Maybe a little flick called Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 or Driven. Legendary director who now directed The Strangers Chapter 1, Strangers Chapter 2, and Strangers Chapter 3. They shot all three of them at the same time. So we are very concerned because Strangers Chapter 1 pretty much sucked. It pretty much sucked. And so we're trying to stay positive and hoping that a lot of the reason that Strangers Chapter 1 sucked was because it was basically a remake of the original, like almost word for word. We didn't need it. We didn't want it. We wanted new Strangers, but we got a remake. So hopefully Chapter 2 is different based on what we see in the trailer, based on what they talked about here at the convention. It is going to be a little different. That's kind of exciting. Now, here's the problem. They showed clips from the movie. They did nothing for us. We were sitting there going, wow. Out of all the clips they could have chosen to show us, this is what they showed us. We were bored. We were like, this is not good. So then we started talking about it afterwards, and we're like, well, okay, did they show us those clips because they were really proud of them? Did they show us those clips because they wanted to save the good stuff, so not to spoil it for us? Or why? What were the reasons they showed us those clips? 3 different clips they showed us from the movie that I cannot show you. They did nothing for us. One was long and boring. Another one directly ripped off The Shining. And then they did an open forum letting people ask questions. And somebody asked Rennie if that was like a ripoff from The Shining. And he basically said, well, there's a lot of movies that have done a lot of different things. So maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But there's been so many horror movies, it's hard to be completely original without, something have already been done somewhere else. So he didn't directly answer it, but I basically took it as that he knew it was a lot like The Shining. And, you know, I kind of took it as that it was him kind of either paying homage to The Shining or making a scene that's like The Shining that's going to get people talking. So good publicity, bad publicity, it doesn't matter as long as people are talking about your movie, because then people are going to want to go see your movie. So this scene from The Shining, and if you watched Strangers Chapter 2, you'll go like, I know what OGP was talking about. That is where they were ripping off The Shining. Everybody on the planet is going to know where they ripped off The Shining. You're going to know. So that was kind of interesting that we just couldn't understand why they would show us those clips, because they did nothing for us to make us get more excited about the movie. We're sitting here going like, now, like, we saw the trailer. The trailer's been out. We've all been able to see it. They played the trailer right at the beginning of the panel. And I'm like, yeah, this is definitely a movie I want to go see. After the panel, I'm like, I don't think, I thought it was going to be much better than part one. Now I'm like, it might suck just as bad as the first one. I don't know. What they showed us did nothing to help their cause or help their case to get us to go put our butts in the theater. So it's very interesting that they chose those clips, and it just, I don't know, man. I'm very worried about where Strangers Chapter 2 is going to wind up at the box office sales. It does not look good at this point. But so Rennie was there, and then I'm not going to bother now, but there's clips of her talking, which I guess you probably won't be able to hear either. And so this is Madeline Petch, I think that's how you say her name. And she was in Strangers Chapter 1. And I'm not going to worry about spoilers right now. So if you've not seen Strangers Chapter 1, I'm sorry, but she survives. She is one of the people in the house during the home invasion in Chapter 1, and she survives. So she's back for Chapter 2. She was the only actor from the movie to be there. Not one person from the rest of the cast showed up. Not one. Only her. And this is what's very interesting. And kind of, I wonder with the rest of the cast, did they go, well, Chapter 1 bombed. It sucked. I don't know that I want to go help promote Chapter 2. Or did the cast go, maybe they had other things going on, but the entire cast, you would think they would have got somebody else. Or were they fed up with maybe producers or the director or whoever, or maybe other cast members? Madeline was asked a question. All three of them were asked the same question. And the question was, what was your favorite moment during the filming of this movie? And that's a common question at panels, at conventions. It's a very common question. So they asked Madeline, what was your favorite moment? Her answer was, to the question, what was your favorite moment during the production of this movie? Her answer was, when it was over, when we finished. And there was an awkward silence. The whole audience, everybody was quiet, kind of looking at her like, wow, did you really just say that out loud? And then she goes, that's my answer, when it was over. And we're all kind of like, wow, maybe she was kind of a bitch. Maybe she was a bit of a drama queen and tough to work with. I don't know. Maybe other cast members didn't want to go see her again. I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth, but why would you want to be around somebody that was happiest when it was over? And it says that on a panel. That cannot be a good thing for her to say, for her career, for the movie, for anything. But she said when it was over, that was her happiest moment. So I'm going to skip ahead. So here we go. There's all three of them. Happy campers over here talking about their movie. 3 people on the panel. And this panel gets better. This panel was a train wreck, an absolute train wreck. And we haven't even got to the best part yet. So we see we're smiling there for a moment. And that must have been because she just got done talking or something. She only smiled when she was talking. And in fact, like pretty much all of them only smiled when they were talking. So this was pretty much their faces the rest of the time during the panel. They looked over it. They looked like they wanted to leave. They were not having fun. So Phat's Samurai guy are sitting, we're sitting there going like, is this really happening right now? Is this really happening? And they're miserable. They look like they don't want to be there. We're going like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. Well, let me see what's the next picture here. Okay, this is perfect. So when the panel was over, they played this. Something specifically was, or something very specific was supposed to happen with this. I'm just going to mute it. You can't hear it anyways. But they play it. It's clouds. This is nothing from the movie. They just play. There's like clouds and lightning. When this was playing, they were supposed to have people in masks, like dressed up like strangers from the movie, come running in to the theater. They were supposed to come running in and like scare us or whatever, or run across the stage or do whatever they were going to do. They didn't show up. So they played that whole thing. They had the room go all dark and they did not show up. The actors that were supposed to be wearing the masks did not show up. So we're going like, what the hell? Well, the funny thing is, they were supposed to do that at the beginning of the panel, and they didn't show up. And then Rennie Harlan goes, well, I guess they must be running late. But they started it off. It was a big production. They had video of the van, or the truck. I think they showed a van too, but it was supposed to be like the truck that they drive in the Strangers that the bad guys are in, right? And they show it like driving towards San Diego Comic-Con. So we're all expecting to see, the Strangers in that truck get out and come running into the room. They didn't do it at the beginning. So Rennie goes, well, they must be running late. And I was like, oh man, I feel bad. I feel bad for Rennie Harlan. He is above this. He is above this disaster. So they didn't show up at the beginning. And then you were figuring, okay, they're playing this at the end. And we're all looking around. Where are they? Where are the Strangers at? And they play this whole thing and they never show up at the end. Let's see if you can hear. She says, hopefully you can see them like in the movie a little more than you just did because they didn't show up. And so we felt, I was so embarrassed for them. They failed. This panel was a complete failure. You had miserable people on stage. You only had 3 from the whole production. And then they failed. They didn't even get their people to show up for the big finale here. And when that was over, I look over at Phat Samurai guy and he's staring at me like that. That was like basically the expression. And look, you can see, look at the guy behind Phat Samurai guy. He's sitting there going like, what the hell was that? You can see his hands up going like, what was that? It was such a catastrophe. We were just blown away at how poorly executed the Strangers panel was. Oh, it was laughable. And so maybe the movie will be good. I'm not going to sit here and say the movie's going to be bad. Maybe it'll be good. I don't have high expectations. But this didn't do them any favors at all. So, okay. So that is David Dastmalchian, I believe is how you say his name. We went to his panel. But before that, let me take this down for a second and put me back over here. After the Strangers panel, we went, in fact, we didn't, well, we went out, went to the bathroom, and then came right back in that same room to see the Red Sonja panel. There's a new Red Sonja movie coming out. It's a lower budget movie. I guess it's supposed to be like a sequel to Red Sonja from back in the 80s, but it was lower budget. And we're sitting there because Samurai loves him some Conan, some Red Sonja, stuff like that. So he was all excited about this panel. Well, they start introducing people. They introduce like a couple producers, one girl from the cast again, and then they say, oh, well, like Red Sonja's, the girl who played Red Sonja is not there, and the director's not there. They go, but we have a video from the director sent to us talking about why they aren't here. And I say they because the director of Red Sonja is MJ Bassett, who I'm going to be very careful as to not try to offend people here because everybody can live their lives and believe what they want to believe. MJ Bassett was clearly born as a man, is living life as a woman now. MJ Bassett was not there. Sent in a video to say why they weren't there. MJ Bassett starts off their video by saying, sorry, I'm not there. I'm not allowed back in the United States anymore. At that point, Fat Samurai Guy and I stood up and walked out. Tapped. We were done. Goodbye. I will sit there and I will entertain you, your movie, your panel, whatever. But when you dive into politics, you lose me. I am here to talk about movies and hear your movie. I'm not here to hear you plead your case for trans people. I am not going to get into my beliefs on the whole trans thing. I want everybody to live life and be happy the way they are. I want you all, everybody to live your life and be happy the way you are. I don't want to fucking hear about it. I don't want to hear you tell me why I need to believe what you believe. And that goes for anybody, not, anybody specifically, but that goes for everybody. I'm there to hear about your movie, not about your fucking struggles in life because you choose to live a certain way. And now Donald Trump won't let you back. I'm not here to hear you bash Donald Trump. So we're gone. Whether Samurai left for that reason or not, I don't know, but I was out because of that. But we both got up at the same time and just bounced after that. So I know nothing about Red Sonja, aside from the fact we saw the trailer at the beginning before we heard that director say what they said. And the trailer looked okay. My question to Fat Samurai Guy after seeing the trailer was, is this an asylum flick? Because it looks like an asylum flick. So, and if you've seen an asylum flick, you understand asylum or Sci-Fi Channel, they look low budget. The acting's not great. The camera work is very unoriginal. It's usually a lot of mediums or wides. So you get the coverage. So you don't have to shoot a lot of close-ups. You can bang, 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 get it done and move on. It's overly lit. So you don't have shadows or anything. It looked like that. It just looked like an asylum production. So I was like, it doesn't look good, but it's Red Sonja. Maybe we'll give it a watch. But then once we heard that shit, we were out. Goodbye. So, and I don't think we were the only ones that got up and walked out at that point either. But anyways, that's enough about Red Sonja and MJ Bassett. Good luck with your film, but you've lost a potential viewer right here. So, did the panel confirm when Chapter 3 should be out? So, Antonis, going back to Strangers chapter 1, 2, and 3, they said that chapter 2, I think, was pushed back a while. I think a lot of us thought, well, it was pushed back because 1 sucked. Their reasoning for chapter 2 being pushed back was they wanted to make it better. They thought it was great the way it was, but they wanted to make it better. They didn't say reshoots. He said, don't call them, Rennie Harlan said, don't call them reshoots. We're talking, we were just making the movie better. So they went and reshot some stuff for chapter 2, and that pushed it back. I would imagine if they were going to alter chapter 3, they probably already did that. I think we're going to get chapter 3 late next year, like about a year from now. Their intent was to release chapter 1, 2, and 3 like 3 years in a row. You know, like I think it's supposed to be like 2023, 24, 25 or something like that, whatever it was supposed to be. So I think we're going to get chapter 3 next year. So I will be in the theater, watching chapter 2, and I will let you know how I feel about it when I do watch a chapter 2. But now let's talk about David Dastmalchian. We know and love him from, let's see if I got a better, closer picture of him. Oh, there we go. From Late Night with the Devil. That's when I see him. That's the first thing I think is Late Night with the Devil. But he's been in Oppenheimer. He's been in Dune and Suicide Squad, and apparently I haven't seen him yet, but he's going to be in Dexter Resurrection. So that is very cool because I love me some Dexter. And it seems like David is either getting very lucky with his roles, and maybe luck isn't the right word because he's obviously a very talented actor. But he's either choosing good roles or he's getting offered good roles because everything he touches seems to be great. But this panel was about him writing a book, and he talked in the panel about like living in different places, and I think for a while in Chicago, and going through a rough patch in life before he became famous. I think even before he went to become an actor, he talked about his early life and struggles, and how at one point he almost lost his life. And I don't remember the specific details about that, so I don't want to go into detail on how he almost lost his life. Maybe you could research that and find out for yourself, but he talked about that. And then he went in to talk about this book that he wrote, and those people there were helping, like, with artists, with the work, with the painting and stuff, and where it was pretty much his story. He had somebody help him writing, he had somebody help him with the art and stuff, but he has like a book, and I don't know if it's like a comic book or a like a novel, like with pictures and stuff. I think it's more like that than just a traditional comic book. But man, if you were there at this panel, they put up a QR code, you could scan it, and then you could have gone back today and bought his book, and he would have signed it for you for free, at his table, as long as you bought the book. So that is very cool. For a person of his celebrity status to be willing to sign for free, that's pretty good. Because you go to most places, conventions or wherever, and if you're going to get somebody to sign something, basically it's like, okay, well, the autograph will be $100 and you get this picture with it or whatever. Or if you're, buying their book, you buy the book and they'll sign it, but the book is usually way overpriced. And I'm talking about conventions, places like San Diego Comic-Con. Obviously celebrities and authors do book signings at places like Barnes and Noble, and that's usually buy the book, get an autograph, but you're not taking in other items to get signed or whatever. But David just seemed to be a very down to earth, in touch with his fan base type of person. And that is very, very cool. Now, also, Sumo and his daughter saw David walking around on the floor, just interacting with people. I guess he had a mask on, kind of trying to conceal his identity a little bit, but he was just walking around on the floor of Comic-Con. That you hear about other celebrities doing that, like Bryan Cranston walking around in a Walter White mask. So nobody would think it was Bryan Cranston because it was a mask, even though it really was him. Or other celebrities, like directors, I forget who, but other, people walking around on convention floors, but usually they're kind of in disguise or something. Usually, not always. But the ones that do go out there, very brave and very cool to just be amongst the fans of your work, whether it's, the sci-fi or, the horror genre, whatever it is. To be amongst those fans was very cool. So I was very impressed with him and, hearing the story about him being out there on the floor and everything. So this was a very cool panel to be in before the final panel of the night, the 28th annual San Diego Comic-Con Superhero and Kung Fu Extravaganza, which I have to read that every time or I'll screw it up. But Mr. Bones, well, hello, Mr. Bones, how you doing? David has a fun YouTube show called Grave Conversations, interviews celebrities about death. That's very cool. I did not know that. Thank you for enlightening me, House of GFM. That's something I'm definitely going to have to look up. That sounds right up my alley. So I'm definitely going to check that out. Thank you for that. But it was a fun panel, listening to him talk about his life and the comic that he was making and stuff. And so here's before that, where we go? I wish you could hear him talking there, but there's some of the artwork from the comic book there. And I did try and get, and volume's all the way up. So sorry that you can't really hear him talking. But I did try and get some video of them, talking, but it's just the volume's not good. I apologize. I don't know what to do to fix that. But that was a fun panel. But then we get to the reason for the season, the reason we were there. And that is, once again, the 28th annual San Diego Comic-Con Superhero and Kung Fu Extravaganza, hosted by Rick Myers. And then right next to Rick is Frank Jang. I think it's Jang is how you pronounce it. And then, of course, next to him is that Fat Samurai guy. And then the rest of the panel, folks that I don't really remember their names offhand. Some are like producers, some are actors. The guy right next to Samurai is a YouTuber who I just wrote a book. I think he's a stuntman also. But the rest of the panel was there. They show at this panel, they show clips from new movies or movies that are going to be re-released that have been upgraded to like 4K or whatever. So we watched a bunch of clips from movies that either are out or aren't out yet or not. It's a very fun panel. We had a great time sitting there watching it, but had to get this picture. And I think, so here we go. I did take some pictures of some, and I can only do pictures, can't do video, of some of the movies that I thought looked very interesting. The Prosecutor, and again, you can find this on Hi-Ya Network. And man, was this Donnie Yen? Is that who they said was in The Prosecutor? But anyways, go to Hi-Ya Network, look up The Prosecutor. It looks great. There is this epic fight scene on a subway car. Then Striking Rescue with Steve Jaa, right? Or Tony Jaa? Tony Jaa, forgive me. Tony Jaa. I'm only just getting my toes wet in the like kung fu and martial arts genre there. But Striking Rescue, that's a girl on the back of a motorcycle. Well, Tony Jaa is riding the motorcycle. She's on the back. But that one looks like a lot of fun. Tony Jaa, I just watched a movie with John Ward. What was that movie called? The Protector. Tony Jaa and The Protector was phenomenal. So now, Ghost Killer. This looked like the best. It looked like the best movie of all that they showed all night. The clips from Ghost Killer. I don't know if it's out yet, but whenever it is, whenever you can see it, go to the Hi-Ya Network and watch this. That girl right there, she's also in Baby Assassins, I think 1, 2, and 3. And they showed a clip from Baby Assassins 3, which looks great too. It looks really good. But in this, she plays like a lunatic. She's a badass. Like, if you liked, I would compare her a little bit to maybe a ballerina who we got to see on the big screen recently. She is a badass. Anyways, she's also very crazy in this, and multiple personalities coming out of her as she's whooping ass. Ghost Killer. I'm telling you, that is a must see. So they played a clip from that. And then Operation Condor. This is from 1991, a Jackie Chan film that is getting re-released in 4K. So I'm not sure when that's coming. And I think this is one that, so a lot of the other movies, the Hi-Ya stuff was from Rick Myers. Frank Jang, when he was talking about it, I believe Operation Condor was one of the ones that is going to be getting an upgrade, maybe from, I don't want to misspeak, but there was at least one movie or two movies that Frank was talking about that were going to be coming from Severin. But Operation Condor is going to get like a 4K release coming up soon. And it looks great. It is. I've never seen Operation Condor. This scene right here, if you've ever seen Operation Condor, the wind tunnel scene, hysterical. So Jackie Chan fans, you got something to look forward to there. And here's the end of the panel with all of them up there being the badasses they are. So it was an absolute epic, great panel. A lot of stuff to see out of it. I do want to say, Phat Samurai Guy and probably Rick Myers and Frank is always, they do the action film Autopsy once a month, and Frank is usually on it, and Rick is on it, and Phat Samurai Guy, and they usually have, forgive me, the other homeboy that's always there. I'm forgetting his name right now, but they usually have a fourth panel member there, and forgive me for forgetting his name right now. I apologize, but they are going to be talking about this panel very, very soon, kind of recapping it all. And then you can watch Phat Samurai Guy's channel, who his link is always down below, to learn more about a lot of these movies that I just kind of briefly mentioned there. And he'll show, like, I think maybe some clips and stuff on his channel from those movies. So let's see here. Mr. Bones, I just watched Zion. It's pretty good. Never heard of it. Is that like a Hi-Ya network, Mr. Bones? I'll have to check it out. I went to the first Kung Fu extravaganza and many more. Nice. Wow. The first, you're talking 28 years ago. F6 Scott. That's going back. That is going back. That's very, very cool. And we love these guys. They are great human beings, and very knowledgeable when it comes to Kung Fu martial arts movies. So you want to learn about martial arts, Kung Fu and stuff, you definitely got to check out Samurai's channel if you're not already doing so. It's a martial artist fighting the top floor of a hospital full of zombies to save his wife. Mr. Bones, that does sound phenomenal. Is that Zion you're talking about, right? That is something very cool that I definitely am interested in checking out. Striking Rescue is out. It's all right, not his best. Okay. Slack Wolf, what up? Hey, OGP, we lost Hulk Hogan, a huge part of my childhood. Yes. So at the very beginning of this video, Slack Wolf, I did talk about Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne passing away, because the news of Ozzy passing away broke, I think, Tuesday morning, and we were live Monday night. It came out like, the morning after, and very devastating news for both of them. Both of them were a very huge part of my childhood. Ozzy, a very big part of my life as an adult, being a fan of the show, his TV show. And then the Jack and Ozzy's like world adventures, or whatever that was called, where Jack and Ozzy would travel around the world doing different things. That was a lot of fun. And then one of the shows I loved was when Jack and Ozzy and Sharon, and I think sometimes Kelly would be there, would watch paranormal videos and rate them whether they were believable or not. I love that show too. But Ozzy's music has been a part of my life as long as I can remember. I remember being in parking lots, tailgating before baseball games or football games as a kid, and radio station or whatever radio being on, and hearing music like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Pink Floyd, Jimi Hendrix, the legends, the pioneers in rock and heavy metal and stuff. And I just, my dad was a big rock fan, and I just remember hearing a lot of Ozzy at a very young age. And then of course Hulk Hogan, being a kid, was a fan of wrestling and saw Hulk Hogan wrestle live, saw him in person. And it is a sad day. It's a sad week to lose those two, and Malcolm Jamal Warner, who we did talk about on Monday, to have all three of them pass away in the same week. That is a huge, if you were a child of the 80s, that is a huge chunk of your childhood that you lost in 1 week right there. Antonis, were there horror celebrities at Comic-Con? As far as what we saw, David Dastmalchian and the folks from Strangers Chapter 1 and 2 were the only horror celebrities I saw. But there's tons of celebrities going to be there all week. I guess if I was there today, Thomas Jane was there today. That would have been cool. I would have loved to have seen Tommy Jane. You know what Tommy Jane is, right?
It's vamp time.
I would have seen Vamp Time in person. That would have been pretty cool. So, as far as others, I don't know. Pretty much everybody I've covered was what I saw there at the convention. So, Twisted Metal. I am now interested in Twisted Metal. Honestly, I'd never heard of Twisted Metal before the convention because I don't have like a cable service anymore. Oh, sorry, somebody just went out the front door. We just we have Peacock, and it's on Peacock, so I think I can watch it there, but I don't have regular cable anymore. And so I've never heard of Twisted Metal, but watching it, Twisted Metal is a lot like Death Race, where it's cars driving, and it's like a race, and the goal is to survive, and they're shooting at each other and blowing each other up and stuff. So it looks fun. It looks cheesy like Death Race, but if you're a fan of like the Death Race movies, looks like that. You better watch season 1 before 2 drops. No, I'm definitely going to go back and watch season 1 before 2 comes out. I'm definitely going to be doing that. Strangers Chapter 2. I'm going to watch it. I am going to watch it, but I really struggle to recommend that anybody go out and spend money on this unless they're just a huge fan of the franchise. I want to say go support horror. I want to say go support horror movies in theaters, so we keep getting them, because if we don't support them, they're going to go away. But man, they didn't do anything to make me want to tell everybody to go. So I kind of got sidetracked. I forgot my little San Diego Comic-Con pin that I got. I forgot it's in the other room. It's just a little teeny tiny pin with the logo. But at the Shout Factory booth, they gave us this Unlucky 13 little pin. And I don't know if that's from a movie or what that's from. It says Shocktober 2025 is coming. Become a physical forever member. And so it's got like a barcode there. So I think if you want to maybe become a Scream Factory member or something, maybe there's something going on with that. But they gave out a pin for free just for being there. That was cool. A Samurai, because what he bought, it got him a free t-shirt. Kind of like I have, if you've seen me wear my Scream Factory t-shirt, he got one kind of like that. And then the only other thing that I brought home was this big old bag of Anime Mayhem. I think it's like a Hulu thing, right? Cleveland, King of the Hill, Great North, Solar Opposite, Archer, Futurama. So this was like the San Diego Comic-Con bag, and then you got straps so you can wear it like a backpack, and you can buy stuff and fill it up and have a place to carry it around. They give these out every year. And the others that I have are just folded up sitting in there because I don't know what I'm going to do with them. But yes, Balzer. So Twisted Metal is a PlayStation game. And after hearing Twisted Metal and them talking about how it was a game, I was like, oh, that's right. You know what? I'm pretty sure I have a couple Twisted Metal games out there piled up with the rest of my PlayStation games. But I don't know for sure. I would have to go look through my pistos to find out if they're out there or not. But I think they would be pistos, maybe even PlayStation 1. But they did mention that. And I just I've never played the game. I bought a lot of PlayStation 2 games that I've still never played. But yeah, it looks fun. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. So definitely recommend check out Phat Samurai's video coming up. Subscribe to him if you're not already. His link's down below so you don't miss out on that. And his action film autopsy movies, action film autopsy videos where they talk about like from the previous month, all the action movies that came out and they kind of review them. Those are always fun videos to watch. So make sure to check out Phat Samurai Guy for that with Rick Myers and Frank and company over there. But man, it was a fun day. It was a fun day at San Diego Comic-Con. We had a great time. After the panel was over, because that panel started at 8 o'clock at night and it went until it was like 10:30. They normally run like 2.5, 3 hours long. So it was sometime in the 10 o'clock hour after, it was well after 10. And we walked out and walked back to the car and headed north and just stopped and grabbed a bite to eat and came all the way home. Am I going to go back to Comic-Con tomorrow or Sunday? I don't know. I would love to go see panels, but here's the problem. This is going to be George Lucas's first time at San Diego Comic-Con. Can you believe that? George Lucas has never been to a Comic-Con. That's what they tell us. So he's going to be there Sunday. But you know, people are going to be camping out as early as they're allowed in Saturday at some point. They're going to be camping out to get into Hall H to see him. So I'm not going to do that. I would never do that. So I don't know. But to go all the way back down to San Diego to pay for parking, all the headache and everything, to go, I don't know if I'm going to go back. It's always a blast being there with Phat Samurai Guy, with friends. Last year with Master Chaos, and I did see Master Chaos made a video walking around. I think maybe even like a 5-parter or something, because I think he posted something today, like part 3 of 5 or something. But we did not see Master Chaos this time. But it's always fun being there with friends. And if I went back, I think I'd be flying solo. So I don't know. I mean, Cinestalker's there. Maybe I'd run into Cinestalker, but I don't know. So, yeah, that's it. That's about it from San Diego Comic-Con. I thought about waiting until Monday, till Horror Movie Monday, to talk about that. But a lot of this wasn't horror. And we talked already for an hour and 18 minutes. Horror Movie Monday would have been like a 4-hour video, and poor John Ward would have been losing his mind. So Johnny can't hang. He doesn't do the 9-hour videos like OGP does. But yeah, that's all right. That's all right. So I figured, yeah, you know what? Let's just go live today and we'll talk about it, put it out there. And aside from, at the beginning, kind of talking about Ozzy and Hulk Hogan passing away, here we are. San Diego Comic-Con day 1 recap. That's how our day was. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I think I'm going to head on out and I'm going to go finish putting my movies in order. I got some movies to put in order, and I got some movies to watch. Man, there's a lot of stuff that I want to see. Plus, as we talked about on Horror Movie Monday, there is a movie in the theater that I need to go see. In fact, let me look right now, because it's called The Home, and it stars Pete Davidson. And I don't know if it's going to, I'm not the biggest Pete Davidson fan, but I don't know how long it's going to be in the theater. So I may try and go squeeze in there tonight to see it if it's playing locally. So let me see. House on Eden, Eddington, fantastic. I Know What You Did, Smurf, Superman. So it's not even playing here. man, see, that's where some of these movies that they're not going to get a big run. Yeah, it's not even playing at the next closest theater. But, you know, and the crazy thing is, I did see that it was going to be playing at some theaters. Maybe it's just not at Regal. So I won't be going to see that, apparently. And I'm not going to go see Fantastic Four. I'm good on that. So, oh, no, wait, The Home. Oh, it's 30 miles away. I'm not going to go drive 30 miles to see a Pete Davidson movie. But it does look good. So anyways, I'm not going to the movies. But I do have movies to put away. So I'm going to go do that now. It's been fun. Thank you for hanging out with me, everybody. Appreciate you. And have yourselves a good weekend. Before you go, if you would, hit that thumbs up button. And I will see you Monday, 7 p.m. with Mr. John Ward. Hopefully, I think John Ward's going to be there. He should be. For Horror Roar Movie Monday. Have yourselves a good night, everybody. Take care. See you later. Okay. Bye.
It's Horror Movie Monday, you already know. Chills in the air, and the tension's low. OGP steps up, setting the tone. Always in charge, yeah, sitting on the throne. Sean Ward steps in with a confident stare. Nipples getting hard from the icy glare. Bowser's in the back, creeping through the dark. Lurking in the silence like a phantom arc. It's Horror Movie Monday, lights down low. Screens on the screen, let the madness flow. We laugh, we jump, we scream, we play. Every week it's thrilling in a twisted way.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Fuck you!